back to business. I was wondering if you remember the stuff I once explained to you about how the world may have in fact been created by Miss Suzumiya.
Although it's annoying as hell, yeah, I do remember you saying that.
She has the power to turn anything she wishes for into a reality.
Oh, come on, you can't seriously believe that's true.
Miss Suzumiya was positive that aliens existed, and then she wished that there was such a thing. That's why Yuki Nagato's here. She wanted to meet people from the future, so she wished for that too. And that's why Mikuru Asahina showed up here. And as for myself, she wished for espers to be a reality, and lo and behold, here I am at your service, sir.
Like I said, how do you know all this anyway?
Well, about 3 years ago...
I'm a little sick of hearing about this 3 years ago crap.
3 years ago, and without any warning, I just knew I had these powers, and I also knew how I should use them. And I wasn't alone. There were other people who had the same experience as me at the same time. And get this, all of us knew that Haruhi Suzumiya was the reason for it. I can't explain why. It was just something that all of us knew.
Alright, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But I really can't see Haruhi doing that kind of stuff.
At first, we couldn't believe it ourselves either. No one could wrap their heads around the possibility that thanks to one girl, the whole universe changed, or maybe it was created. And on top of all of that, it's like there's nothing here that's special enough to hold her interest. That's the scary thing about it.
Why scary?
I told you. If you had the power to create the universe at will, you'd also have the power to destroy this world. Then you could rebuild it into whatever you wanted. If that really happened, it would mean the end of everything as we know it. Although if it does happen, we'd have no way of knowing that it even happened. Then again, maybe something like that has happened before. You never know. Perhaps the universe has been destroyed and rebuilt lots of times already.
Look, why don't you just tell Haruhi what you really are? I'm sure if she found out that espers were real, she'd be ecstatic. Then maybe she wouldn't think about changing the world.
Well, there's a problem with that. If Miss Suzumiya finds out about us espers and then starts thinking our powers are like some common occurrence, the world would be knee-deep in espers. Every law of physics would get twisted up like a garden hose. The entire universe would fall into chaos.
If you guys exist because Haruhi wished it, why isn't she aware of it? I mean, don't you think that's strange?
Not really. There's the part of her that wished for aliens, espers, and time travelers to be real. But she's also got a practical side that thinks those things are impossible. She's conflicted between the two. Yes, she does and says things that are eccentric. But in reality, Miss Suzumiya is just an ordinary human with a good sense of what's real and what's not. In junior high, her energy was like a sandstorm. But in the past few months, it started to calm down. I'd prefer it if she stayed calm. But now we need to face the fact that she's creating a new tornado.
What do you mean?
Hate to say it, but it's your fault.
What do I have to do with this?
What are you talking about? You're the one that gave her the idea to form this strange club. Because of the conversation she had with you, Haruhi decided that she'd create a club filled with all sorts of weird people, didn't she? Therefore, you are responsible for this. And because of that, a member from each of the 3 groups that are interested in what Haruhi Suzumiya is doing are now conveniently gathered together in one place.
So I'm the scapegoat.
Well, actually there's more to it than that. I hate to say this after dragging you all the way out here, but if you prefer to go back, it's not too late.
You gotta be kidding me.
All right then, so could you do me a favor and close your eyes? It'll only take a couple of seconds.
Do you have to hold my hand?
Okay, open them. The gap between dimensions, separate from the world we know, a completely closed space. And in the middle of this crosswalk is the wall for this closed space. It's about 5 kilometers wide, and normally there isn't any physical way of entering the space. But that's one of the powers I have. That is, when the conditions are right. If you can picture a dome that's been plopped down over the city, well, we're standing in it. As we're in here, talking, life goes on as normal in the world outside the space. And normal folks wandering in here, well, that doesn't happen too often. Now, closed space is created completely at random. Sometimes they pop up every other day, and sometimes you won't see one for a couple of months. One thing's for sure though, whenever Miss Suzumiya gets emotionally unstable, it creates a space like this, somewhere. I can sense when closed space is created, and I know where to go to find the door to get in. My powers aren't limited to finding these things and getting into them. You could say that my powers somehow reflect upon the things within Miss Suzumiya's consciousness. So if this closed space is a pimple that appears on Miss Suzumiya's spirit, we espers are the acne medication.
You know, your metaphors are hard to understand.
Yeah, I get that a lot. But then you sure are something. I mean, here you are seeing all this, but you don't seem surprised.
I've seen a lot of strange things already.
Well, looks like it's starting. Please, take a look behind you. When Miss Suzumiya's irritation level gets to a certain point, these giants suddenly appear. I think it's a form of stress relief for her, with those things acting out on her behalf and destroying stuff. I mean, she can't go causing riots or anything in the real world, so she creates a closed space and she's free to unleash her fury inside it. Don't you think that's logical? I mean, that thing really shouldn't be able to support its own weight. It seems to transcend the laws of physics, doesn't it? Even if you brought an army unit in to fire rockets at it, it still wouldn't stop that thing.
So you mean that thing just keeps tearing stuff up?
Not quite. Have a look over there. Other espers. They're just like me. They're people that hunt down the giants created and powered by Miss Suzumiya. Stay here. It's time for me to go help out.
I can't believe this is happening.
Sorry to make you wait. Oh, there's something else I want to show you. Last thing, I promise.
I don't think anything's gonna top that.
Once us espers get rid of the giant, the bubble of close space disintegrates. And it's quite the spectacle. So, now do you understand?
No.
We have a name for that giant you saw. We call him Shinjin, a man that's made by God. The Shinjin are linked to Miss Suzumiya's mental state, and so are we. Stop me if this starts to get confusing. When a closed space is created, the Shinjin rise up and take the form of giants. That's when I get to unleash my supernatural powers. However, I can only use them within the confines of the closed space. Right now, sitting in this cab, I don't have any powers at all. You're probably wondering why I've been given these powers, right? I guess it would have been okay for anybody to have them. I just happen to be the one chosen. And as for the Shinjin, we can't leave them alone to do what they want. The reason is that the more stuff the Shinjin get to destroy, the bigger the closed space becomes. That space we were just in, believe it or not, that was one of the smaller ones. If we left it alone, it'd keep on growing, getting bigger and bigger until it covered the world. If that happens, the world ends. The gray void of the closed space would replace the world we live in now.
But how do you know it would happen like that?
I don't know how I know, I just know that I know, you know? And the same goes for everyone else that belongs to the organization. If we don't do something about all this, the world doesn't stand a chance at all. It's such a bother. So please, keep an eye on Miss Suzumiya's behavior. Her mental state's been stable for a while, but it looks like it's starting to get active again. Things like today haven't happened in a long time.
Even if I do keep an eye on Haruhi, don't you think I'm a little out of my league here?
Hey now, don't sell yourself so short. If it were up to me, I'd let you handle all this stuff by yourself, because if there's anyone I trust, it'd be you. But there's many different opinions among us, and things are definitely complicated.
Koizumi tells me to keep an eye on Haruhi's behavior. And for some reason, Nagato tells me to be careful. Even though both of them warned me, I really didn't think anything would happen right away. If I could see into the future and know that the very next day, I'd be in the middle of one of the hairiest situations ever in my life, I'm sure I wouldn't have been as calm as I was right then.